So, if I'd had my way, I wouldn't have done the film. George, much to his credit, this was all I got out of George. I don't want to do it, George. Can you turn around? I want to see it from the other side. George, I'm not going to do the film. That's not a bad costume. Can you show me what it looks like? Yes, that's awesome. Can you move in it? George, I don't want to do the film. Okay. That's it.
He just ignored you.
Totally. Didn't give a shit. I was doing the film. That's how I got it. Your turn.
Well, I was a model in Sydney, and this is in the early 80s, and I was doing a lot of television commercials, a lot of makeup shots, and a lot of fashion and runway work, everything, you know, all the high fashion modeling stuff. And I'd done a lot of, lots and lots of television commercials at that stage. I think about 60 television commercials for all sorts of different products. And one of the casting directors that I did a lot of television commercials with would always ask me, "Are you interested in auditioning for any films or TV series?" And I would always say no, and she'd say why, and I said because I've never really learned the craft. I don't feel comfortable with it. I find it a little bit scary. And so she would ask me 6 months later, and I'd say no, I really don't feel comfortable because I think you have to study for years and years and years in order to do acting, and I'm just a model. I wouldn't know what I'm doing. So she asked again. Then eventually she said to me, because in Australia, let me just explain, in Sydney it's a very small community, actors and casting directors, and if you do a lot of work, whether it's television commercials or film and television, you know all of the casting directors, and they know you. So there's like about 5 top ones, and I knew them all and they knew me.
Well, it's the same way with actors in Australia too, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, if you're an actor or if you're doing television commercials, you know the same. It's a very small community. I think in every country, when you're working a lot, you get to know the top casting people because it's the casting people that give you the jobs. If you don't know the casting people, you're not going to work. Unless it's an unusual circumstance where, like Vernon, he was brought straight in through the director. But in my case, it was through a casting director. So she asked me the 3 times over a year, I guess. And then she said to me, "Janine, there's this amazing role that we all think that you would be absolutely perfect for." And it was the warrior woman in Mad Max 2, it was called. Over here it was called Road Warrior. And I said, "I'm scared of it. I don't think I could do it." She said, "Trust me, you will. It's visual. There's not very much dialogue, so you don't have to stress out and worry about how to handle the dialogue. Visually, you've been doing commercials now for 8 years, and you've been handling dialogue in commercials." I said, "But it's different, isn't it?" She said, "Well, no. It's pretty much the same. Although in commercials you tend not to have conversational. It's not conversational acting. You're more saying, 'This bottle of water is wonderful. I think you should have,' that sort of direct to camera. Whereas when you're acting, there's conversation, and it is a different process. But she said, don't be scared of it. It's like an extension of what you know already. Just audition for it. Just audition for it." And I said, "Oh, well, what's the character?" "Oh, she's a warrior, no makeup, very tough, emotionless, fighting for her community. I think you'll really enjoy it. It's completely different from what you've been doing, which was, pretty girl, glamorous, mountains of makeup, just like now." And so I went for the audition, and I remember in the morning feeling, scared. I went to the gym because I figured I should be, a little buff, and I'd been going to the gym anyway, for years. But before the audition, I went to the gym. And then I thought that I should dress a little like the role, thinking that would be good for me. And actually it was. It worked out well. So I wore a little headband, because I thought she's a warrior. I didn't know what to do. I wore a headband, a pair of tight trousers, and a little tank top. Tight. So I turned up, and I met George himself. Usually the directors don't audition you, but in this instance he was there. I did my dialogue, and he said, that was terrible. That was really bad. I went, oh, sorry. I knew I shouldn't have, attempted it. He said, but look, I want you to do some what do you call it? Improvisation. Some classes. Some improvisation. So he just made something up. He said, okay, imagine your brother is a cyclist and he's just died. He set up this whole scene. And he said, just pretend and make up the dialogue. And I did it. He said, oh, wonderful. Thank you. I knew you could do it. Okay, with the right direction, I think that you would be really good in this role. I'd like to offer it to you. So he offered it to me on the spot, which is really quite amazing. So I think maybe I like to think I gave him the idea of the headband. But the crimped hair, I'm not quite sure where they got that idea from. But maybe my hair being so straight, they wanted to dirty me up a bit. So they actually put the red dirt in my hair and crimped it. You know what crimping is? They have a little hot iron that's got crimps on it, like a waffle iron, sort of. You crimp your hair so it's all messy. And that was how I got the job.
Oh.
Don't you pretend to be asleep. Yeah.
Yes.
With Fury Road coming out, a lot of the actors were showing off a lot of the stunt work that they did. A lot of the publications were. Was it the same shooting on the set of The Road Warrior? Was a lot asked of you physically to be in those roles?
More.
Yeah.
We did our own stunts, almost.
Yep, basically, I think I didn't do two. But George is a fanatic on safety. And he makes sure that nobody gets hurt. He didn't do a very good job with me.
He didn't do a good job with
Broke my arm. But,
with what's his face that had his legs broken in 3 or 4 places. What was his name? One of the stunt guys?
the how head stunt guy, Max.
No, not Max.
He got his back broken.
The other one.
Oh, the one that got shit kicked out of him by the camel. Yeah, well,
The one that did the somersault and he hit the car in the wrong place and slammed down. I can't remember his name.
By the way, this is what happens when someone's a
I
fanatic
know,
with
Max
safety.
got hurt. That was another one as well. Who are the stunt guys? Can someone tell us in Mad Max?
nobody knows, I don't mention them.
Who's a road warrior fanatic? What are you doing here then? I'll think of it. Do you know what? I'll think of his name later. But no, it was Max, and Max was my bodyguard.
Oh, you mean, what's his face, that spun down the boxes? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's broke. What's
Well,
his name?
he broke his leg because he wanted to do something that nobody knew he was going to try to do.
And also he misjudged driving along the bike and he got
Oh, he
off
did it
too
too fast.
Yeah, too fast.
Yeah, he wanted to be the longest, and he turned up being the
Misjudged
longest.
it. And he span, it's in the film. He came off his bike, hit the side of the car that spun him, and he broke his legs in various places and landed.
He had a bar in his leg from a previous accident, and it bent it to a right angle. Yeah, we had fun.
Nice stuff.
Well, they took 3 of us, you get one on each end. Round back.
Do you guys have any questions? Do you mind my asking?
No, please.
Please don't be scared of us. We won't bite you. Well, we
Who
might.
are you talking
We might bite you.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Do you want to ask us a question?
We've got a whole intelligent audience out there.
We do. Come and ask a question.
Uh-oh. It's
Here comes
me.
trouble.
Bravery, right there.
Here for trouble already.
You can't even spell slut, can you? You got to spell it with an N, 2 E's, and a K.
I am representing this gentleman's podcast. It is fantastic. Meet the podcast. Everybody.
Excuse me, this is Road Warrior. Shut
This
up.
is about you guys.
Right, let's focus, Jeremy.
And I did want to say, I am a fanatic of the entire franchise. Stunt guys, they don't get the respect and the love that they deserve, obviously, a lot of times. But absolutely, they are some of the many unsung heroes. But I kind of wanted to ask you guys, and I'm sure it'll be a little bit different from both of your perspectives, but were you aware at the time how, it kind of set the template for what post-apocalyptic movies were going to be from then on? Everything from the Book of Eli to any of these more recent movies set in the same kind of barren wasteland. And then it's even influenced fashion for, decades. Were these things that you guys anticipated or were aware of when you first started?
Plus, Vernon Wes is the archetype for almost every single post-apocalyptic villain.
Yeah.
In all forms of media, books.
So many films, you're so dead right, so many films copied. Look at, what was that film, Something from New York?
Escape from
Rip off Waterworld, rip off. What Norma Morrisseau designed the hair and makeup. Norma Morrisseau she's Australian, but she'd been living in London all through the punk era. She took punk and kind of new romantic music and married it together and added some warrior and added some dirt. She created that whole look. It had never been done before, but it definitely came from punk, a marriage of punk and music, and as well as all the other genius from the other designers. And it was really unique. There was nothing like it before that, so I'm not surprised it got copied. The genius of this film is that it doesn't date. There's nothing in there to date it. There's no makeup, not really, except warrior makeup. There's no hairstyles to date it. There's no cars to date it. No buildings to date it. So if you watch it today, it's as relevant as it was back then.
More so.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So yeah, and you're dead right. Fashion, it inspired fashion. Hairdos. Where do you think punk hairdos came from? From Road Warrior.
Absolutely. I watched a movie called Turbo Kid the other day, and it was very much modeled after. And
And the kids today are still shaving their hair on the sides and wearing sort of, the mohawk style hairdos. That all comes from punk and from Road Warrior.
it really does.
Yeah.
And spiky hairdos.
And spiky hairdos.
Yeah.
Everything.
That's where it comes from.
You know what? It was when we did the film. Everybody thought it was going to be a great little movie in Australia and Japan, possibly because they really liked the first one. Nobody in their wildest imagination, including George, thought that it would ever become what it became, because the first one in America was a total flop. Mostly because they redubbed it with American voices and it just sounded horrible. It just became its own thing. Even today at UCLA School of Film, they use sequences out of Mad Max to teach editing, music, and sound, because they consider the editing that George did to be some of the most perfect editing of a film. The music is some of the best music to what the action
And also
is
the car
ever written.
chases.
And yeah, all of that is still used today, and you're right. You can go to any apocalyptic film and see traces of what we did, but that's the really cool part about it, is because
God, I wish we
you
got
can see it.
residuals.
Yeah,
I wish we got residuals.
that would have been fun.
We'd be very wealthy. We'd be flying you all somewhere right now. Shall we fly them all somewhere?
No.
Let's go to the Bahamas.
Thank you for answering my question, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next person. Don't feel shy.
Yeah,
Yes, darling.
get up. It's all right.
Maybe someone could pass the
Just don't call
microphone.
him Mr. Wells. I'll go out there. How about that?
Yeah.
I will go out there.
Yeah. And while you're out
It's
there,
embarrassing to come there, isn't it, to the microphone? You should just be heard.
It's embarrassing to come to the microphone. Let him go to the microphone.
He's so rude.
Who said that?
He's so rude.
It's a pleasure meeting both of you. You both
Thank
seem
you.
very wonderful. Road Warrior is one of my favorite movies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I love you both, actually. This question is for Vernon, but I love Virginia for different reasons.
Thank you.
Vernon,
Thank you.
something I've always thought about Vernon, your character in Road Warrior, you had that blonde-haired guy with you to tag along through the movie. And as the movie is going, he's always riding, behind you.
I can see where this is going.
Well, I'm just curious what the backstory is on that, because
He was the pizza delivery boy.
because when he passed, you were very emotional about it. I didn't know if there was a family
There was.
thing there.
He was actually, seriously, the pizza delivery boy. They rang up one night, they were working late, and ordered pizza, and he brought it, and George said, "You want to be in the movie?" And that's
Really?
yes, seriously, that's how he got it.
Oh my God.
And he was such a yo-yo, they didn't give him any dialogue because he could hardly speak. But there's a couple of scenes in if you ever get a book, there's a book called The Script for The Road Warrior. The ending's different and the beginning's different. And it's the actual script that was written for the film. In the beginning, it starts before you see me coming up the road behind Mel. And how it starts is that you see all these marauders going up a hill to an isolated farmhouse, and they're all going in, you hear screaming, gunshots, all kinds of things. They drag the woman out, they're raping her, they start burning the house down, and then this young kid, blonde kid, runs out trying to get away, and one of the marauders grabs him by his hair, pulls him back, takes his knife, he's about to cut his throat, and his hand, which has the thing on it, grabs him by the hand and stops him. And I look at the kid and he can't talk, he's so traumatized, he's just looking at me, and I just look at him and I pick him up and I throw him on the back of my bike, and then it cuts to chasing Mel. He was my surrogate son.
Not a lover. Everyone
Not a
presumed
lover.
that he was a lover, but he actually wasn't.
He was my surrogate son. That's
Yeah.
why I was so upset.
I mean, I had questions, but I never went there. I just didn't know the dynamics. That's,
Yeah.
that's wonderful
Yeah,
to hear that.
there was a couple of scenes that
That's nice.
weren't shot, or if they were taken out of the film. At the end of the film, I have the feral kid strapped to the front of the humongous vehicle upside down, and I'm the one that Mel throws the trident at and kills. Not humongous, but George wanted my death. I don't think he liked me by the end of the
He
film,
loved
actually.
you,
He
darling.
wanted me to die really
Just
bad.
dynamic. He just wanted to change the dynamic a bit, I think. But one of the funniest things, oh, maybe.
No, go.
I was just going to say one of the funniest things for me, my first film, so I wasn't used to a lot of the processes. Sitting in the lunch area, you know, with all of the actors just relaxing in their costume, and your chap at the back, the blonde, what was his name?
Jimmy.
Jimmy, was it Jimmy? Jimmy's sitting having lunch, having a bit of a chat with an axe in his forehead. Was it a boomerang? Yeah, boomerang stuck in his forehead. You know, just having his lunch and having a little bit of a steak and a bit of a drink. I was absolutely in awe of the whole process. I just thought that was the funniest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, everything came together on that movie.
It really did.
The actors were superb. Everybody in any role in that
Yeah.
film
It was
really,
fantastic.
really fantastic.
Yeah, even the dog.
The script was amazing. The direction, the cinematography, everything came
Everything.
together for some unknown reason.
Yeah, magic.
Just
Meant to be.
made an amazing film.
Meant to be
And,
to put us in front of you right now.
That's right.
There you go.
well,
Thank you.
Paul Buggers.
You're welcome.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Next!
Next, little sweetie.
Come on, you little shits. We
You,
have
by
to
the
come
way,
all the way over here.
by the way, you can ask about. Vernon's been in 543 films since.
187.
Yeah, and I've been in a few things and played a few different coloured people, like blue.
I've been in a few things too.
So if you want to ask questions about any of our other roles, you've got our attention.
I know
Okay.
someone in the back who wants to talk about Farscape.
Come on,
Who wants to ask a question?
ask
about
questions.
I'm going to force somebody. How about that?
Yeah, pull somebody up by the scruff of their... Make them...
Don't be shy, because if you think about it, you might not have another chance to talk to us about all of this in person. So do ask a question if you want to.
Grab the blonde, let her ask a question.
The blonde.
Yeah, the blonde with the big
Oh, this gentleman.
Yeah.
This gentleman.
big hair.
I have to do what they say.
He's so naughty.
I don't think I'm allowed to do that as a moderator.
Oh, go on, Laura.
Certain things
Ask
I'm
a
allowed to
question.
do.
Ask, come
Anything.
on.
Go on. And can we see it? Oh no, he will. I've seen him do that. Thank you, darling.
Don't tempt me.
This gentleman down here had a question. What?
What,
Bubbles?
my ass?
What's
Yes. All right, you're on the set in the sand all day. How did you keep a comfort zone with that?
What, chafing?
Yeah, sand getting where sand. I live in Pensacon on the beach.
Let me put
Sand
it this
gets where it
way.
shouldn't.
I know why women hate G-strings. And just to give you another little hint, I have on my wall at home a photograph. Some people went through a sequence in the film, frame by frame by frame, till they found the frame they wanted. They froze it, they sent it to me, and they printed across the bottom of it. Dear Vernon, we always knew you were a ballsy actor.
Oh,
You figure out what happened.
oh dear. Oh no.
Yeah, I was cold all the time. I had sand in places where
Sand shouldn't be.
sand shouldn't be, yes. But apart from that, no, it was fun. You know what? Being serious for a moment, both of us and everybody else in that film that was in their first or the second or third were incredibly lucky people to be at that time in that film with that man, George Miller, doing what he did, because I say to George every time I see him, he made my career. Of course, then he says to me, bullshit, you made your own career. He made my career because George, and he did the same thing
For me.
to Virginia, he gave us the courage to be able to do what we didn't think we could do.
And also a spotlight. You know,
Yeah.
he put us in a spotlight and you find yourself in a spotlight with the world looking at you. So either you can do what a lot of, you know, idiotic people do, which is to drink it away, to drug it away, to party it away, to be ridiculous, stupid and horrible role models. Or you can just do really good work as much as you can and try really hard and, you know, try and do something to heal this poor old earth of ours. You know, or at least just to teach, like Vernon has gone on to be an amazing teacher. He teaches acting
Sex.
classes, he directs and injects, you know, his philosophies into what he does. You know, George Miller gave us he gave us a platform, you know, and every single person who was in Mad Max has really honoured that platform, which is, you know, it's been
Yep,
incredible.
and we've lost a lot of them, unfortunately.
Yeah, Archie Whiteley died.
Archie Whiteley, yes.
She was a little girl with a little palm tree hairdo on top. She died of a brain cancer.
Aneurysm.
Brain aneurysm. Yeah, who
When
else?
she was very young. The guy that wore the soldier's helmet, he
Oh,
he
not
passed away.
humongous.
No. You know, the comedian, Australian comedian, was always running around. Yeah,
Really?
yeah. We've
Not
lost
Steven
like
Spears.
no,
No, not Bill Zappa.
no.
Okay.
He was the older Joe.
Ah, gotcha.
But we've lost like 4 or 5 of the people that were in the film, which is a bit of a shame. But then again, it was made like 900 years ago. I'm sure Adam was a small child when we did that bloody film. But it's fun, you know. I still get along with, what's your name? Bullseye.
We're best friends.
I still get along with Virginia.
My sweet. I love
Um,
you.
And I had a ball on the set with her. All I wanted to do was get into her pants.
I know he did.
Seriously, every day I walked around with a heart on going, "Ah." That's where the character came from. That was weird. "Ah."
Shame on you,
Why?
naughty boy.
I know, but it was fun.
Any more questions? Sorry.
I want to ask another one for you.
Oh, great.
Oh, right.
We know
Oh,
they cut your hair, right? You look like, you know.
Yeah.
When you did Farscape, did they cover it? Did they cut it? And then how bad did you really get from all that blue makeup?
Well, talking about the hair first, here's the thing. I did not want to lose my hair. I did not want to. I had very long, I just cut it recently, but my hair's always, you know, very, very long. But you got to remember one thing, that when you're a proper actor, and not just a reality star, because the reality stars, their responsibility is to look pretty and sexy at all times. An actor, your job is to honour the character. If you have to put on 50 pounds for the character, you put on 50 pounds for the character. If you have to lose 50 pounds for the character, you lose that. If you have to wear a wig, no wig, dye your hair, you know, cut off your eyelashes, whatever you have to do, your job is to honour the character. Now, you're not going to want to do anything too outrageous if you only have the role for a week, a day, a week, 2 weeks. But in my case, it was year after year after year. So they told me once I got the job that I would be blue. I didn't even know. I knew I had some blue on me, and I just thought, oh, pretty little blue shine or something lovely, you know. But oh no. But once you start falling in love with the characters through the script, you just think, oh my God, she's incredible. She's a master healer on this planet. You know, I can inject so much stuff into this character. You know, she's a scientist, she's a healer, she's a political assassin, she's a mother. You know, and you do not get an opportunity to play such a complex character very often, if ever. You know, I was very lucky to have that character and that opportunity. And so what? I had to cut my hair. You know, so what? To bring that character to life? Oh yeah. You know, absolutely. But it also helped that the makeup artist, who was, funnily enough, was also the makeup artist on Mad Max, Leslie Vanderwall, had said to me, yeah, and she had said, she didn't design, it was Dave Elsey, who just won an Academy Award for his makeup, Dave Elsey, English, and Colin, I can't think of his name, they designed the makeup, and Leslie, this is for Zan, and Leslie just made it prettier, you know, like pretty, the shape of the eyes, she did, but they designed the rest of it. So Leslie had said to me, oh, so you don't want to cut your hair off? Because at first I said no. And she said, okay, well, just to let you know, if you're going to be dealing with a bald cap, then this is a TV series, not a film. With a film, an hour and a half, say, is the film. That's the normal, general run of it. 6 months to a year to shoot an hour and a half's work. Find this